We've got had 19 kids signed this morning. Got them all in pretty much before 10:30. 10:30 or so. So that was always a good thing to get them in early. Obviously, we had 4 kids already here on campus, 4 enrollees on campus. So we're excited about this signing class. I think 18 of the 23 are from the state of Texas, which is always a good thing. We're really excited about this class. I always say anytime there's a transition in recruiting, in staffs, anytime there's a transition, you always have a little bit, when you have kids committed, a little bit of a concern about who the new head coach is, what's the staff, what kind of offense they're going to run, what kind of defense they're going to run. So there were some kids that decommitted. There were some kids that we may move forward, maybe in a gray shirt mode. So this class is still fluid. We'll still be working to add to this class in the next 3-4 weeks. In a lot of different areas. I call it roster manipulating. We'll continue to manipulate this roster and hopefully improve it and make it better. Guess I can open it up for questions.
How much did you have to rely on the guys that Fran had already brought into this program, and how much were guys that you went out and found that you wanted on your own?
Well, most of this class was built with kids that had already committed. The big thing for us is to go out and meet those kids. When you're, like I said, doing the transition, that's one of the toughest things that you do. You try to get out and meet the kids, go to the high schools, sit in their homes, whatever you can to try to build that relationship or make sure that it works. Answer questions. There's always questions when you're signing kids. What kind of offense you're going to run? What kind of head coach? What's my position coach going to be like? All those things always come into play. So we wanted to get out and answer a bunch of questions, and then really just get to meet the kids and make sure that we were, compatible and good fit. So we spent a bunch of time doing that. Like I said, I want to commend the kids that stayed committed to Texas State, because I believe that's what you commit to. You commit to a university. I want to commend those kids and those coaches that helped those kids, and those parents that helped those kids stay committed. And then we were able to go out and 4, 5, 6 kids look at and get to come to Texas State.
How much of a whirlwind and rush was it for you, considering how late you got in?
Well, again, like I said, the transition, this is what happens this time of year when you have a coaching change. You get used to it. I did it 2 years ago at James Madison. I was on a staff at Ohio State that did it. Coaches come and go, and you have to adapt and go. So I'm going to send my assistants home for the next 2 or 3 days so they can go get their clothes. Mm-hmm. They're living out of hotel rooms and out of briefcases right now and suitcases. So they need to go home and then come back and find out where they're going to live in San Marcos. So they've got that going on right now. So, yeah, it's always a transitional time and a difficult time, but it's also an exciting time too.
Coach, you had 23 members in this class. Did you fulfill all your scholarships that you had to offer, or do you have any more, like 1 or 2 left?
We'll always be able to sign more. Every year, we're going to always have the ability to add. I won't tell you how many we've got, but I will tell you that, like I said earlier, this class will be fluid, and we'll be working on adding more, whether it's in this class or 17 class, whether we'll manipulate and try to make the roster better.
You said that you have a few more spots to fill.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a position that you're looking for, or maybe a position or 2 that you're looking at?
Well, we'd like to always sign linemen. I always believe the better stocked you are in your offense and defensive lines, you can be a better team. So we always start there. We'll probably look at a defensive lineman or maybe even an offensive lineman. And then we're going to take the best available, what we call big skill or skill player. the one that can help us, score touchdowns or stop people from scoring touchdowns.
Coach, what do you think the strength of this class is?
Well, you know what? I always say I never can answer that question until these guys get on the field and we can see them play. I tell you this, one of the strengths I believe is in the athleticism in our offensive line in this class. I think we've got some talented kids athletically in the offensive line. I feel like we've got some talented kids in the secondary. But again, who knows, what this class is going to be like till they get on the field.
I know it's kind of early, like you just said, but do you feel like there's a couple guys in this class that can possibly have an impact this year for your team?
I don't even know our team. I don't even know the Texas State football team right now. So it's hard for me to tell whether they're going to be able to impact on the field or not until we get to know this football team. We've been here, I think, maybe 18 days or so, 20 days or so. So when we get to know this team, we'll fill the spots and see who can help us from this class.
So is the next couple weeks about evaluating, what you have, and how do you go about that evaluation process?
Well, we started the process. We're in what we call the first quarter of the journey. Our strength coach has them right now. He's got them in the strength and conditioning phase of it. I think one of the big things that we're trying to do right now is figure out whether our team understands how hard they need to work to be champions, trying to build a championship culture, how to do things right, how to stay behind the line, how to finish +2 across the line. Those are basic, everyday things. I'm talking about foundation of where you got to start before you can go talk about winning games. So we're starting in the elementary school phases of this football team right now. So we'll continue to grow and learn them a little bit better over the next couple of weeks. And then we'll be able to get these kids that we just signed in here, hopefully this summer, and add them to our class or to our team.
How hard is it when you're trying to get to know guys that you didn't initially recruit? You might not have seen a ton of video on them, and you have to have a class just for the future of the program. How hard is that period where you're trying to study as much film on these guys, trying to learn the guys that are already on campus, trying to get to know these recruits?
Well, here's what I'll tell you. It's hard no matter what school you go to or come from or wherever the coaching team. That's hard to do. I think what makes it easier is most of these kids are from the state of Texas, and they come from good programs and good high school coaching. So you're getting for the most part, you're getting a kid either in the recruiting class or that's on your team that comes from a program that's been taught well and have good core values and those type things. So that makes it easier for us, I think, coming in here. Whereas I've been, at places where you come in and, you sign a recruiting class and, you really start working on the next one because, that's you got to get ready. You don't know how many of these guys are going to be able to help you.
Of the guys you signed, all of them were from high school. Since your staff kind of came in, you had the 4 JUCO transfers from the mid-year. Does that kind of reflect your philosophy? You'd like to go the high school route as opposed to the JUCO route if possible?
Well, I think our philosophy as a staff is, you go JUCO in our minds when there's a specific need at an area. We want to try as much as possible to stay away from signing the 5, 6, 7 classes of JUCO kids. Because a lot of times those kids already have something ingrained in their muscle memory that's going to be hard to break in 2-3 years. We want to be able to take kids and develop them, and we feel like taking them from the high school ranks and develop them is best suit our staff.
Coach, do you feel handicapped at all not having ties to the Texas high school system, or do you have that?
I coached in Texas for 3 years, so I still remember a lot of these coaches around here. I think I got 4 guys on my staff that were born and raised in the state of Texas. So I feel like not handicapped. I feel like we're right on pace for where we need to be.
Building on that question, how is the relationship building going with the Texas high school coaches and trying to get face-to-face meetings with them and let them know who you are, what you're about?
That was part of the process during the recruiting, was to get in as many high schools in Texas as we could, get a chance. I went on the road the last week and a half to try to get in there and see some of the high school coaches as we were recruiting, finishing this class, as we were starting on the 17 class. So we did all that in the last 3 weeks. That's not only was it signing this class, it was trying to build relationships and those type of things. We spent yesterday down with D.W. Rutledge down at the Texas High School Association. Spent an hour or so down there, the whole staff, just trying to. What we wanted to do was reach out to D.W. and say, hey, you know, here's Texas State. We want to try to do the best we can to help ourselves in this state, and especially in Central Texas, and get to know all the high school coaches. What can we do? And just ask the question, what can we do to be better in this state?
Is there a number that you could put on of different high schools that you touched base with, that you have your fingerprints on now, your staff?
It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to tell here for, hopefully we get to a number of them. You know, this spring we'll try to get in as many as we can. It's really hard in this state. This is obviously, you know, I talked to DW yesterday. I think he said there are 2,100 high school coaches in the association. So to be able to touch base with all the high school coaches is going to be really hard, but we want to be able to go speak at clinics and those type things here over the next month or so, and be able to maybe touch some in that way also.
Coach, when you had Tut and Williams recommit to you after they decommitted in November, was that an indication that everything was going to be okay with this class?
Well, you know, again, we felt like those kids were talented players and good kids, and they fit what we wanted. You know, anytime you have kids recommit, there has to be some form of communication and relationship mending and building, and we felt like we were able to get that done. You know, I had numerous, you know, sit-downs. I sat down with both families, and we talked about my standards and expectations for the program, and you know, you get an idea of what their expectations are, and you try to come to you know a medium area where you want to say it can work best for both of us, and I think we did on both cases.
You had 4 mid-year guys signed.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, I wish it would have been 5, but played too
Mm-hmm.
much. You left for Houston Baptist. What exactly happened? Did they transfer? Or?
I talked to his his junior college coach this morning. Matter of fact, he's a good friend of mine, Danny Palmer. And I think the kid really confused in a lot of ways. I had no relationship to him. I think I had met him once. In fact, I met him once when he came in and said he was going back home. There was a family situation that he was wanting to go back to Houston to be around, and he felt like going back was good for him. You know, it's hard for a coach to coming in. You know, I don't know the kid. Really don't know the kid. So if he's got a family situation, you know, then you know, I'm not here to say don't go back home.
And with Braden Kent,
Mm-hmm.
he said he's going to be gray shirted.
Yep.
And so he'll sign next year.
Yep.
What can you tell me what you discussed with him?
We talked about the number of guys we had in this class, the quarterbacks on scholarship, and for a young man that's had an ACL, MCL injury, what was best for him to get healthy and then be able to come in next January, you know, fully cleared, and be able to come and go play, be able to compete then. You know, he would burn his red shirt this year if he comes in now. Now he can come in January and start, you know, in position to compete. We want to spread out the numbers. If you look at the quarterback position, there's a lot. It gets really top-heavy as far as scholarship guys, and really trying to spread out the number of guys in each class.
You had a number of defensive back signings, I believe 6, 4 cornerbacks, 2 safeties. Did you feel like that was an area of need kind of going into the signing period?
Yeah, we felt like we needed to upgrade at that position. Like I said, we'll continue to look at guys that are out there to try to continue to upgrade that position. We feel like that's an area we need to continue to work to get better.
Can you describe how hectic this process has been?
Like I said earlier, it's part of what happens when you have transition, change, coaching staffs change. It's what everybody in America goes through. That's a new staff this time of year.
Coach, you talked earlier about having not really knowing what you have on this team yet.
Mhm.
You have them a couple weeks. I mean, what have you seen that as a strength of what you have? Any idea of? I mean, obviously you're trying to build a group of leaders for this team.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to build a bunch of guys that are going to lead by example.
Right.
Have you seen that so far?
I've seen a number of kids that I feel like fit what we're looking for. Again, we're still going to work through. I really like to take my time this time of year before I can tell you what the strength of this team's going to be. I don't know. I really don't. Like I said, we're in the first quarter of what we're trying to get done. We're just trying to get them to line up right, put their hand behind the line, finish +2, go to class, go to study hall, eat the 2 meals that we make mandatory for them on time. Those are it's like elementary school. That's what we're trying to get done right now with this team. So as we get those things, we'll move to step 2, and then maybe start talking about football.